What is base rate neglect? How does it influence our decision making? Base rate neglect is another mental shortcut we take when making decisions under uncertainty. In my earlier video on ambiguity aversion, I introduced that we are averse to ambiguity, which means the probability of an outcome is unknown. But what happens when we do know the probability? That probability is called the base rate. Even when we know the base rate, we often still get swept away by the vivid details while ignoring the probabilities. This is where individuating information comes into play. Individuating information refers to specific, personalized information that often takes a spotlight in our decision-making process. Let's consider a scenario where you select a candidate for a crucial role in your organization. The base rate in this context could be the historical success rate of the candidates who have certain qualifications and experience for the role. For example, the base rate might indicate that candidates with a certain level of expertise have 70% chance of excelling in similar positions. However, when faced with the decision, you are presented with individuating information, such as a personal recommendation from a trusted colleague or a remarkable achievement showcased by the candidate. This individuating information can be compelling and capture your attention, potentially leading to base rate neglect. You fail to give sufficient weight to the probabilities, which is the base rate, and focus solely on the personalized information that seems more relevant and compelling. While the individuating information can provide valuable insights into a candidate, it should be considered alongside the base rate to make a more informed decision. So, why do we often push aside the base rates? Well, think about it. Most of the time, we don't have all the facts on the table. We are left to estimate probabilities based on two things: our past experiences and our current sensory information. Our brains don't treat the two sources equally. It's almost like a dance. Our past experiences and current sensory information intertwine in our minds to create a perception of what could possibly happen next. If our current sensory information leads the dance, we are more likely to overlook those base rates. Neuroscientists have found that base rate neglect is associated with activity in a small dopamine-rich structure deep within our brains, the putamen. The putamen is a part of our brain's reward system and is densely packed with dopamine receptors. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, and it's responsible for how we perceive rewards and pleasure. In the context of decision-making, dopamine plays a crucial role in shaping our behavior based on our expectations of positive outcomes. The putamen, as part of the dopaminergic system, helps us to learn from rewards by associating certain actions with their positive outcomes. The putamen is deeply involved in how we evaluate reward, risk, motivation, and ultimately how we make decisions. Where does base rate neglect come into play? Because the putamen and the dopaminergic system are geared toward reward prediction and reward-seeking behavior, they can overvalue the potential reward while undervaluing or even neglecting the base rates. Take the lottery example. The possibility of winning a Mega Million jackpot releases a flood of dopamine in our brains, creating a sense of anticipation and pleasure. Our brain's reward system, including the putamen, focuses on the extraordinary reward, which is winning a jackpot, and neglects the base rate, which tells us the odds of winning are incredibly small, 1 in 200 million. The allure of the big reward overshadows the stark reality of the odds. causing us to disregard the base rate in favor of individuating information. Let's look at entrepreneurship. The media loves to focus on the triumphant stories of entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. However, the sobering reality is that up to 90% of startups fail. This base rate of failure is often overshadowed by the few glittering successes. The journey of student athletes is another example. The dream of landing a coveted college athletic scholarship often obscures the underlying base rate. Only a small percentage, specifically 7.3% of high school football players and even lower 3.5% of high school basketball players, actually make it onto college teams. However, despite these odds, an astonishing 28% of American parents with children participating in high school sports maintain the hope that their child will become a professional athlete. The chances of achieving this dream become even more challenging for families with lower income, with 39% holding on to this dream. As we've discussed earlier, dopamine plays a fundamental role in creating anticipation for rewards and generating feelings of excitement and motivation. In the case of student athletes and their parents, the vision of obtaining that coveted scholarship fires up the dopamine pathways, painting an irresistibly enticing picture. Have you ever neglected base rates as you predicted your team performance? For example, you're leading a high-performing team in your organization. Your team has just wrapped up a project ahead of schedule and well under budget, earning high praise from your supervisor. When we experience success or achieve a desired outcome, our brain releases dopamine, creating a sense of achievement and an anticipation for more success in the future. In addition to dopamine, success can also lead to an increase in testosterone levels. Testosterone is a hormone that is linked to motivation and assertiveness. It can also contribute to a feeling of heightened confidence. As your brain is awash in dopamine and testosterone from the sense of achievement, you may find yourself brimming with confidence or perhaps even overconfidence, leading you to quickly accept another more challenging project. This is where individuating information comes into play. You are basing your decision to take on a new project solely based on the recent success, believing in the team's exceptional abilities. You are anticipating that the team's performance will continue on the same upward trajectory. You throw the base rate out of the window. Studies have shown that teams often experience a performance dip after a string of successes. This could be due to a variety of factors like complacency setting in, team members feeling burnout, or simply the statistical phenomenon of regression to the mean, where after a period of exceptional performance, it's quite normal to see a drop back to the average. However, in the rush of recent success, which is the individuating information, you overlook this base rate. You underestimate the resources needed for the new project or overpromise on the deliverables, both of which could put undue stress on the team and jeopardize the project's success. Start observing your decision-making process and those of others around you. See if you can spot instances of base rate neglect in action. Please feel free to share your comments below.